Hey guys, welcome back to Clubhouse Kids. So we are diving into step 2, which is our enhanced level. We are building our Clubhouse Kids curriculum for the school year, and it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Now, the first video we already did our explore, where we learned all about the monthly learning topics. So if you have not watched that video, press pause on this one, go back, watch it, and then come back and join us. So that first step really sets the stage for everything else in this program. So it'll give you a good foundation for how these learning layers work together. So especially in our multi-aged classrooms. So let's dive into step 2, enhance. Enhance is all about adding structured math and literacy activities to your day. So it's about building on what you've already introduced through your monthly themes. So we're going to think about it this way. The monthly themes lays the groundwork, and then the math and literacy strengthens it. Now we have leveled these so that every single student in your classroom, we are meeting their needs. So we have level 1, which is ages 1 to 3, or your toddler group, and then level 2, ages 3 to 5, which is your preschool group. So this really helps you differentiate by your classroom or your age group. And then in a homeschool setting, you can just choose the level that meets your child right where they are. So let's jump into level 1, and then we will go into level 2. So Munchkin Math for level 1 is all about colors and shapes. So you are going to choose a color and a shape for each of the months. And so let's just look at the color orange, and you can kind of see how these lessons are set up. So this is lesson 2 of the color orange. Each of the colors has 10 lessons. At the top, you start with your objectives. One side is your whole group lesson, and then the other side is at the table. Now, if you only teach toddlers, I would do the whole group lesson within your circle time. If you are teaching a multi-age classroom, I would only do the theme circle time, and instead, this whole group lesson could be done while the kids are playing centers, and then you could call up a certain group to the table and do this lesson with them. So if my kids are all playing in centers, and then I say, oh, I need the toddler group, and they all come and join me at the table, and we do this lesson plan. So every single lesson within the color resources starts with an introduction. It always has a little lesson. So for lesson 2, you are going through the orange flashcards. And then it has a math listen, which is a book. So you're going to read them a story about the color orange. And then it ends with a gross motor activity. So this one, they get to do an orange napkin dance. And then at the table, there's always 3 activities. The orange color bin at the bottom is the only one that is going to stay the same for all 10 lessons. And this is where the kids can look at the orange items in a bin throughout the month. If they find other orange items in the classroom, they can add it to the bin. And then there's a book that they can also look at if they are using this table activity. And then the table activity 1 changes every single day for the 10. So this one, they are using they're going to pinch and release pom-poms onto the printable. And then the ply worksheet is always a hands-on. So for this one, this is a color page for the color orange. So that is the general overview of what the color resources look like. And then over on this side, you can see in the Teacher Resource Center, you're going to have all the printables that you need to complete that lesson with your students. So let's dive into, so that's for colors. And the other side of Munchkin Math for our toddlers is a shape. You can see the setup is very similar. So this one is for the shape square. This is lesson 1. So this is our introductory lesson to the shape square. So in the introduction here, you are going to show them the flashcard for square. They're going to find the square on the poster. And then you are going to have a mystery bag with some squared items in it. And then you can pull those out and you guys can discuss them. you're going to read them a story about squares. So you can choose one of these, or if you have other ones in your classroom. And then it's going to end with a gross motor. So this one is you are doing marching around the square. So you're going to use masking tape and make a big square in your classroom, turn on some music, and they get to march around the square. At the table activity, it is set up very similar to the same as the color resources. So you have your shape square bin. What I do is the items that I use from our mystery bag get put into the bin, and then along with our square book, they can play with the items, look at the book, and then throughout the month, if we find other items in our classroom that are square, they get to add it to the bin. Activity 1 changes within every one of the 10 lesson plans. So this one, they're going to identify the squares, and then they're going to place a linking cube on each of these. And then our apply worksheet is also a color page because this is lesson 1. So within Munchkin Math, you have 10 lessons for the color and you have 10 lessons for the shape. And so if you put those together, that is your 20 lesson plans for the month. And you get to decide how you want to divide those up. So you're not going to be doing color and shape both on the same day. That would be too much. So how I do it in my classroom is week 1 and 3, we do colors, and week 2 and 4, we do shape. And so for week 1, I do lessons 1 through 5 for my colors. For my color, so if it was orange, lessons 1 through 5 for color orange. And then week 2 would be lessons 1 through 5 for shape square, if it was August. Week 3 for August would be lessons 6 through 10 for my color. And then week 4 would be lessons 6 through 10 for my shape. The other side of our level is literacy. So for level 1, it is Read to Me. And this is just one of my absolute favorite programs. At this age group, the best thing that you can do is read to them, like expose them to language, expose them to literacy and vocabulary. And if they have people in their life that is reading to them as well, that only benefits them for those early years. So, Little Literacy, Read to Me is a bulletin board program. So, every single month, you will have a literacy bulletin board. And then you have little cards that you give the kids at the beginning of the month. And every time that a caregiver or a parent or grandparent, anyone reads them a story, they get to write that, or the parent gets to write that book on one of those book cards, and they get to bring it in and put it up on the literacy board. And so over the month, you're just going to see this literacy board fill up with all the books that the kids are being read to. So it's just a really fun program. So how I do it in my classroom is during this time when I call these kids up to the teacher desk, we talk about if anyone has a book card, and if they do, they get to put it up on the bulletin board, and then they get to tell us about the book or why they liked it. And it's just a really fun way to encourage literacy in your classroom. So I'm showing a couple of the bulletin boards, but there is one for every single month. So on this one, you're seeing August and October's, and then we have January's and April's here. And then this is the resources that you would send home with the kiddos. So it's always just an informational thing for the parents or their caregivers to look at. And then you have your book cards that you can either cut these out and put them like in a Ziploc bag and send them home at the beginning of every month, or let them cut them out as they write them on there. It's just kind of up to you what you want to do. All right, so that takes care of level 1, your toddlers. So I'm showing you, grab that yearly plan overview, and you can see step 2, enhance. And we are filling out our level 1 math and our level 1 literacy. Now, if you can see, I wrote toddlers here because that's what I call this age group. When I call them up to the table, I call them my toddler group. If you want to do it by age, whatever works best in your classroom. But for my level 1 math, I put what color and what shape we will be learning in each of the months. And then for level 1 literacy, I wrote what bulletin board theme I will be doing for my toddlers. So pause this video, get your level 1 enhance resources filled out, and then we will dive into level 2. All right, let's get going on level 2. This is for your ages 3 to 5, your preschool age. And for Munchkin Math, we are working on those early math skills. So these are all the resources that you will be teaching throughout the year. So they will be learning about symmetry and numbers and sorting and sequencing and positional words and measurement and patterns and graphing and comparing. So you will choose one of these resources each month. Each of these resources has 10 lesson plans. And so this is our numbers 1 through 5 resource here. And this is lesson 1. So in this one, they are going to learn about number 1. You can see that it's set up very similar like the other one. So what I want you guys to know is like every lesson plan you open is ready to go. Like nothing's going to be surprising. Once you get the hang of it, you're going to know how to use these lesson plans. So with this one, you're going to have an introduction area, just a lesson with the kids about the math concept. And then here they're introducing the number 1. You're going to read them a story about a counting book. So I put a couple of 1 through 5 ideas here, but please use any book that works for this, for numbers 1 through 5, and then a gross motor activity. And then we have at the table, this one, they're going to be looking at the different ways that we can make number 1 and then putting on a cube after they talk about it. This one, they're going to be pinching and releasing palms onto a number 1. And then activity 3 is always an apply worksheet. If you are a classroom that doesn't do worksheets, you can always just skip activity 3. Activity 1 and 2 will always be hands-on. So that is for Munchkin Math. And then level 2, Little Literacy, is letters. So we are teaching our preschoolers all about letters. Now these are going to be divided by our themes. So if you are doing option A, which is theme bundle A, this letter bundle A is going to go along with those themes. If you are doing option B, then this letter bundle is going to be going along with option B. If you want all 24 themes, because you are with children, more than 1 year, I have bundled all the letters together in a complete letter bundle, and you will have all the letter resources you need for every single theme that I have created. So let's look inside each of our little literacy. Now I know my ABCs. So going along with the beach theme, I grabbed lesson 1 of the letter J for jellyfish. Now each of the literacy letters are 5 lesson plans. So your math is 10 lessons, and then your literacy is 5. And you're going to be introducing 2 to 3, usually 3 letters a week. So that means that you don't always have to do literacy and math in the same day. So if you have other things going on, it's beautiful outside, they want to play a little bit longer in the centers, anything like that, you have that flexibility to do that. So if you teach just preschoolers, my recommendation is that you do your whole group lesson during your circle time. If you teach in a multi-age classroom, I would do it the same way that I do with my level 2. So once my level 1 toddlers are done, they go back to their centers, and then I call up my preschoolers to the table, and we do the whole group lesson. So it's always broken up into 4 parts. So you're going to have your introduction, you're going to have your activity, you're going to have your literacy listen, so you can read them a story about letter J. I have put a couple options here, but with letters, there are an immense, just so many different letters. Options that you can choose with books. Just find a book with the letter J in it. And then for the gross motor, they're doing a jellyfish jump. For the table activities, that activity 3 is always an apply worksheet. So this one is a color page, but activity 1 and 2 will always be hands-on. So with this one, they're doing the letter J introduction, and then this one, they're doing the letter J recognition. And then over here on the other side, you see all the printables and resources you need to complete that lesson 1. All right, so let's grab that yearly plan again and fill out our level 2 preschool. So I have put level 2 math preschool. I've written each of the math concepts that we will be learning in each of the months. And then for literacy, I wrote each letter that we will be learning during each of those months. So they go along with the themes. All right, and so once you get that filled out, come on back and we are going to dive into step 3. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Bye.